It is actually quite obvious that the international airports are profitable. The likes of the KLIA, means KLIA 1, KLIA 2, Penang, Langkawi, Kuching, Kota Kinabalu, right? And you have less than a handful of domestic airports which are profitable. Okay, so it's about 39 airport, only 8 profitable. Let's take Sarawak as a case where in Sarawak, let's say Kuching is a profitable airport, but we have also 12 stall ports which are short takeoff and landing airports like Bario, Muka, Marudi, and so on and so forth. So these airports, firstly, they are not profitable because we don't collect any airport tax in this airport. It's purely maintenance and OPEX. It is outflow, there's no inflow. So of course, as an airport, they are in the red, they are loss making. So we need the profitable airports capacity to cover and sustain the moving forward and continuity of these airports. Malaysia Airport operates a network of airports. So when you talk about investors coming into the picture, the context of the investor coming into the picture must be viewed as to why do you need to come into the picture in the first place. Because firstly, we operate a network that works. However, where I see that possibility happening is in terms of the capacity to expand airports. Assuming that our requirement is say X billion of dollars in a certain years, but our capacity is about X billion of dollars, but our requirement is 3X billion of dollars. So MAHB on its own may not be able to entirely undertake the full expansion. And by not taking full expansion, the consequence of that happening is the quality of service on a congested airport, and therefore the passengers and the users will suffer the consequences. That's natural. So if MAHB is able to undertake the expansion, I think MAHB should be given the opportunity to undertake. But if let's say the requirement far outweighs the capacity that MAHB needs to undertake, and MAHB cannot be too selfish to hold everything on its own, and therefore there's a possibility for a joint venture or partnership to happen. So in short, whilst we are not opposing the idea, but the reason for that happening has to be the right reason. MAHB's role is on operational capex, and the government's role is on developmental capex, means airport expansion. We just provide the maintenance and operations. But when you study the trends of the amount of capex approved by the government vis-a-vis the amount of capex that we asked for the last 15 years is way less than 10%. Case in point is even KLIA 1 and KLIA 2, where we spend a combined amount of about 4.4 billion to upgrade. And as a result of that upgrade, there will be a lot of benefits to the airline, because the LCCT last volume was about 18 million. Now, last year KLIA 2 did 30 million. So you can imagine the airlines that operate out of these terminals have greatly benefited, and likewise for the passengers. Penang was another case in point where we just expanded it about 3-4 years ago to 6.5 million. It's already it's not only it seems, but it's also ahead of capacity. Last year we did 7.2. This year we may be doing maybe closer to 7.8 million. So airlines have benefited, and more airlines have now been able to come to Penang, for example, like Cathay Dragon, Qatar, and so on and so forth. We are looking forward to the RAB framework because it gives a mechanism for us to recoup our expenditure. Unlike the current operating agreement where there is no direct correlation between charges and level of service and airport tax and so on, now we have a chance to move into a price monitoring mechanism. Okay, so why I'm actually excited with this new framework is because whatever that we allowed to incur, we will be given a mechanism for us to recoup that. Okay, how I see the overall vision with regards to the government is that, number one, if let's say we craft the operating agreement in the proper context, there will not be any financial burden from the government. None. Okay. At the same time, whatever that we pay to the government in terms of user fee, in terms of the absolute amounts, we will try to structure in such a way that they don't even lose out on the absolute amount. Means that let's say we pay X dollars of user fee, we try and craft it in such a way that not only that we will incur the capex, but we will also try to not cut any amounts due to the government from an absolute amount. Let's say today we pay a certain amount, say 300-400 million, so we try to maintain that. So the government do not lose out on the revenue that they're currently earning, but at the same time, they are not also forking out any capex. So that's where we are trying to establish some sort of mechanism vis-a-vis the OA extension and see how we can work together to actually devise certain terms and conditions that MAHB is able to undertake the capex. At the same time, government also will not lose out the overall returns that they actually used to get from MAHB.